All of us have our own families that love us and we love them. Our family is our spiritual home and at times even physical. This is where we primarily go to when we have problems, or when we need guidance, or at least most of the time. However, sometimes there becomes a conflict within the relationships of the family, which is what we would like to tackle on. In this video, we will talk about domestic abuse. According to refuge.org.uk, domestic abuse or domestic violence is the abuse of one partner within an intimate or family relationship. It is the repeated, random, and habitual use of intimidation to control a partner.
Let's start first with domestic. Domestic pertains to the home, the house, the household, or anything that has to do with the house as a whole, the family. Domestic abuse is ill or bad treatment of what pertains to the home and the household. Overworking of the domestic helper, underpayment of the same, bickering between husband and wife, between sons and daughters, between siblings. Those are forms of abuse in the household, in the house, in the home.
Domestic abuse has been showcased through various forms of media such as movies, TV shows, and the internet. By this, we have been able to experience and visualize what domestic abuse is and what it can do to our lives.
This is an issue that needs to be promulgated among us because it is actually present in the Philippines. A statistical report by the Philippine Commission on Women in 2013 shows that there are still Filipino women who experience spousal violence in many forms, namely sexual, physical, and even emotional. What is more alarming is that they even included an ever since age 15 label, which means that there were constituents that experienced this kind of domestic abuse since they were 15, which is quite a young age. So why do these cases happen?
Because there are good people and bad people. Good and evil thrive in all people's hearts. It's a matter of choice between good and evil. And if everybody chose good, there will be no domestic abuse.
Well, for one, the parents who abuse their children is that, based on studies, is that they themselves were also abused when they were younger. So they just perpetuate the problem. So in most cases also the parents don't know how to handle it. Okay? So when their time comes, they also repeat the cycle of mistakes and mistakes. So it has to be also, the parents should learn that that is not right, that is not proper. Well, in some cases is that the number one would be the strained relationship between the boy and his parents, or even, let's say, for example, siblings to siblings. Okay, so definitely the problem gets worse and it gets out of hand. Meaning, it will lead to other more problems. It aggravates, and the problem becomes aggravated, and it could lead to, it could lead to really serious fights, and at the same time also it becomes a part of the trauma on the part of the boy, that if it is not corrected, he himself will repeat the same thing also when he himself becomes a parent, or maybe he's going to do that also with other people.
Philippines also has a law that prevents domestic abuse. The Republic Act 8369 recognizes the sanctity of family life and promotes the family as a basic unit of social institution by preventing the solidarity of the family and services to keep the family from having a controversy.
The fourth commandment is honor thy father and mother. That in itself is already a warning not to commit domestic abuse.
Again, even as young students, we can still do something about this appalling issue. In fact, as Ateneans, the TD and immersion program helped quite a lot in helping us get closer to our families and avoid domestic abuse from happening in our own families. The love that we give and get from our students and foster parents should more or less be the same love we give to the members of our families. Aside from that, having faith in God and accepting His love will surely strengthen the bonds with the family.
First is that whoever the person is, they really have to ask help. They really have to seek professional help. Or in some cases that I have handled, some relatives would come into the picture. Okay, so maybe a tita or a tito will come into the picture and they will in their own way help the family deal with it such that it doesn't happen again, such that the children are in terms of the trauma that they go through, or they can anticipate that the trauma should not happen again.
By being good, whole, and holy, by heeding what God commands us to do, by doing what Jesus did, being good to God and to neighbor.